ICC, our position, at least Rwanda's position for a long time, and indeed it's good for, at least that for you, you've been able to tell the difference, because some people think we hold the position we hold because of Kenya. No. I think our reaction to the Kenya situation has more to do with the position we have held over a long time. So it is not about Kenya, it's about ICC. And Kenya is a good example of the problems we have had with ICC for a long time. I remember I expressed this position more than right at the inception of ICC, in actual fact. I told people of an opportunity I had when issues to do with ICC were being discussed, the formation of that. And I did tell people that I thought this was just another institution, an international institution, that is going to be abused. And at the end of the day, the victims are the Africans or the weak countries, or countries that are still struggling in their development. This was the view I had about 10 years ago when this was coming up, or slightly more than that. And today I'm able to ask people, I say, was I wrong? Because what I see today just tells the story I was talking about more than 10 years ago. Nothing has happened that has made me or has convinced me to change my mind about it. So every other year that passes, I think I'm convinced I was even right, or others who held the similar view were right. You see, it relates to another problem, as you know, we have had also discussed at the AU, and which is now at the UN General Assembly, was also discussed. So the matter is with the UN. And this was something to do with what was called universal jurisdiction. Universal jurisdiction meaning we already have cases here where some of our people, for all kinds of reasons, some lower courts of some countries, or just a single judge decide to say, I'm going to indict Minister so-and-so, General so-and-so, and even when you look at the background, the issues are debatable or questionable. And most of it really political. Because if you look at the nature of the cases that were affecting us in France or in Spain, they are mainly of a political nature, and they were instigated or initiated by some local judges somewhere. Now, and the question even relating to this was, if you call it universal jurisdiction, the meaning even of that is that it will apply equally everywhere. So which means if this can happen with the judges in Spain or France or anywhere, it should happen with the judges in Rwanda, in the East African countries, or any other place. But the practice is not true. It doesn't apply like that. It only applies and is respected only in some places and not in others. Even at the international level, therefore, it doesn't apply equally. So that's the problem. So how does it become universal jurisdiction? So on matters of ICC, therefore, what we are talking about is this question where some people, or this world is divided into categories. There are people who have the power to use international justice or international law to judge others, and it does not apply to them. So in fact, you find in most places then it is used either to against people whom they think do not serve their interests, or who are said to disrespect them, or even to determine leaders of countries who should be the leader of this country or the other one. If they don't want him, there is a case, and then they use this, but it happens only in one direction. It doesn't happen in another. So how can we have a world of this kind of order? Or that, for that matter, why should we accept it? Why should we accept that there is a world that is like this, that it treats especially those of us, meaning Africans, like it does? Of course, there are all kinds of arguments I hear out there. It's like, oh, but you see, African leaders, and some of them really, doing wrong things and so on. But that's not the issue. The issue is not whether some people are doing wrong things and others are not doing wrong things. No, the issue, in fact, if you argue like that, it's as if you are then saying, it's only leaders in Africa that do wrong things. Leaders elsewhere don't do anything wrong, and for which they should be held accountable. So the issue is not that. The issue is if there are leaders who are doing wrong things, meaning, therefore, anywhere in this world, what should happen to them, and how does that take place? Now, if you put in place ICC and say it's going to be taking care of leaders, then let's look at it this way, that it will actually take care of leaders across the board, everywhere, isn't it? That's when it becomes international justice. Because we also find some of the things that go wrong in Africa, even if it involves African leaders or Africans, these people always act together or in connivance or in association with leaders or other people elsewhere, isn't it? Or really some of the things that happen have historical background that involve these very people outside of Africa whom the ICC does not look at. So for us, we are talking about, therefore, if we are talking about ICC and relating it with justice, for us we are saying, well, then you're not talking about justice, because justice is justice. Everyone who needs justice should get it. It doesn't matter where, if it is there of an international nature like this one. So you can't have an international system that is supposed to dispense justice and it ends up doing it selectively or politically. This is the issue. This is, for us, our position. This is where we come from.